this video, I want to talk a little bit about compliance, your business, and how it relates to working with smartphone. Now, the first thing to know about compliance is that it's really important and that it's tightening across the world, but particularly in the US, where the FCC, the TCPA, the carriers are all working really hard to increase compliance and weed out bad activity, bad behavior, bad actors as it relates to text messages and phone calls. Now, inside smartphone, we have built a bunch of tools to help you manage your compliance. The first thing I want to talk about is do not call. Now, the federal do not call list is incredibly important, and it's important that you respect it and that you make sure you are not calling anybody on it. Now, inside of smartphone, we do have a DNC capability. It's a global one across your account, and when you add numbers into that DNC, smartphone simply will not phone, will not text. Those numbers are blocked off, and that's fantastic. But it also means you have to have that behavior inside your company. You have to make sure that your agents are using the DNC list and respecting it and making sure that if someone asks you not to call them, you're putting them on that list. We also do have tools inside of our Smart Leads beta product to help you scrub your leads and your lists against the do not call list to make sure that you're not calling them. You can use that, or there are various tools across the internet that will help you do that. It's really important that you respect the DNC list. It's important that you respect it on an ongoing basis. Don't do it once and assume that's good for 6 months. You should be scrubbing against the DNC on a very regular basis to make sure that you are respecting it. Now, the second tool that we've got is our Trust Center. Now, inside the Trust Center, there's a number of things you're going to be able to do that help you stay compliant and that simply help you get better performance from smartphone. Now, the first of all, there is a requirement that smartphone has to satisfy certain know your business, know your customer regulations. We are an FCC regulated business. So inside the Trust Center, you are going to find various tools that help us verify both your business details and any decision maker's personal details. Now, we do that to make sure that we can verify who is using the platform and we can weed out the bad actors, the people who are spamming, scamming, or trying to commit some sort of fraud. And you'll likely see more tools inside of this system develop as things get more sophisticated. But there are also tools that help you get better performance from smartphone inside of the Trust Center. First off, of course, there's Stir Shaken, which is applied globally across your account once your business is verified. And it essentially acts as a method of telling the carriers, this is a verified person making a phone call, and that phone call should go through quickly and without any impact on its performance. It's essentially saying, I'm a trusted person and I'm allowed to make phone calls. That means, of course, the carriers know who's making the phone calls, so they feel confident that they know who you are and they can know who to go to if there are compliance issues. Second thing is around text messaging. So inside the Trust Center, you will actually manage your whole A2P 10 DLC process if you're in the United States. The United States has a very specific compliance framework around text messaging that has been built by the carriers. It's called Application to Person 10-Digit Long Code, A2P 10 DLC for short. And you can manage all of that process, verifying your company, as well as creating campaigns to let the carriers know how you're going to be texting people and why inside the Trust Center. I will say one of the most important things that you really need to make sure of when you're going through this process is that you as a company have all of your core compliance things in line. So a proper privacy policy, proper consent rules. If you don't have that, the likelihood is your A2P 10 DLC campaign will fail and you won't be able to send text messages. So make sure you take a real serious look at it. It's not complicated, but it's something you really need to look at. Another thing that's inside the Trust Center is the CNAM registration. Essentially, it's a way of putting in a code or a short name so that when you make a phone call to someone, they see that pop up on their phone instead of just a random number, right? So I can put smartphone as mine, and when I call someone, they'll look and see smartphones calling. It's a great way of, again, part of that building up the trust inside the carrier and compliance framework, and making sure that you are mitigating against being marked as a potential spam call. Final thing I want to talk a bit about is around behavior and what happens if you violate compliance. So the first thing is behavior. We build tools to monitor for traffic. We monitor all of our traffic for potential non-compliant behavior, and the carriers do that as well. But behavior really comes from you, the customer. You need to make sure that you understand what you can and cannot do inside of smartphone, inside of telecommunications in general, and you need to set the basic rules for your organization and for your agents, making sure people respect things like the DNC list, making sure that you have gathered proper consent if you want to text people, making sure that you're not buying bad data, huge big lists of bad data, which is going to be considered non-compliant behavior. If you start loading up hundreds of thousands of people of bad numbers, the carriers are going to look at that and say, this person's acting is a spammer, and they're going to take a very dim view on that, and likely they're going to come after your account. So behavior really matters, and it's really important that you take a think as an organization about compliance and apply that to yourself and your agents. Now, what happens if you violate compliance? Well, as I said, we monitor all of our traffic for non-compliant behavior to give us warnings around it. The carriers do the same. And if we or the carriers spot what we consider non-compliant behavior, our standard protocol is to immediately suspend the account and do an internal investigation. We will talk to any carriers if they've told us to do that, and we'll talk to you. We do our best to work with all our customers, because most times that behavior comes from ignorance, not from any sort of intent. We'll work with you, but during that time where you have to make changes to mitigate any future behavior, your account will be suspended. You won't be able to make phone calls, receive phone calls, send text messages. That's true across pretty much every platform. So it's really important that you get this right. And it's important you take any sort of non-compliant communication that we give you very seriously, because if you work with us quickly, we can try and get you back up and running quickly. Now, of course, if you continue to violate and do non-compliant behavior, chances are your account will be closed. And any account that is closed, you will lose access to any phone numbers, and of course, any funds that you've paid into the account will be gone as well. So it's really important that you treat compliance seriously. Now, that's not a bit of a downer of a way of ending a video, so I just want to remind you that compliance is actually a good thing. Compliance makes sure that you as a good company can operate and reach your customers, and that the bad actors are weeded out. Compliance isn't that complicated to do, it's just important to do the basics well. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and as always, I'm not giving you legal advice in this video. I do highly suggest that you contact someone in your local jurisdiction, your local area, state, wherever you are, to make sure that you understand exactly which compliance areas apply to you and that you are doing it properly. If you have any questions, we've got lots of interesting best practices inside of our smartphone help center. And of course, you can always reach out to our team. They're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, directly through the platform, live chat on the mobile, the platform, and the website. Thanks for watching, and happy phoning.